Hi, everyone. Welcome to Flourish by Design TV. I'm your host, Caroline Murphy, and I'm just coming on to talk to you a little bit about, 2023 and what I see is coming for myself and for what's happening in the world. And I just wanted to introduce you all to really who I am, I suppose. I'm if you don't know me already, I'm an author. I'm a contemporary spiritual author, poet of a children's book poet, and a poetry book around Celtic spirituality. I have another book that's due out this year called Silent Revolution. And that's what I wanted to come on and talk to you about, a little bit about that, because I released a post just at the start of this year talking about the fact that this was going to be a new book that I want to launch this year. And that it's been sitting in my on my desktop really for about since about 2016. And you know, I suppose it was the first book that I wrote after kind of a self discovery journey that I went on, which started when I was 40. And I published three books actually since then. Um, and why have I actually decided to hold off on bringing this new book, which is called Silent Revolution, to the world? And really, I feel there's a real shift. There's a massive shift this year. Um, if people don't know me, I've been podcasting for about 2 years. I started that because of the children's book that I had written I launched back in 2020. Sorry, 2020, March 2020, which was the first day that the lockdown happened here in Ireland. And I felt it was really important, and I got this, real urge to bring that book out straight away to talk to children. Then after that, I wanted to talk to the adults, and that's when I brought out Declare a Republic of Free State of Mind, which was kind of like trying to look at our, Irish society in particular, and looking at how free are we really in our thinking. Do we feel that we are mature enough as a nation to really to become the I suppose the mature adults that can govern a society that has been ruled by other people for centuries. So I looked at that, um, and then I brought out Rainbow Warrior Wonder Journal, which was trying to bring kids back into nature and getting to understand design, geometry, and maths in nature. So the book then that I'm launching this year is kind of fundamental to where we are now. And I feel it's the most important thing that we can do at this time because I'm, you know, totally in love with creativity and, Flourish by Design TV is set up all around that. It's about trying to flourish our society during these really difficult times. And why is that? Because we're creative beings, we are creative in our essence and in our core, and that's where we get our power from, our creativity. But how do we get that? How do we access that? And it's a really a journey that we need to go on to try and access our power, because spirituality through religion has been kind of disempowering nearly to us. But when we look at spirituality in a contemporary way, really what it's trying to do is it's trying to empower us. So it's trying to bring us back into ourselves and in within, and it's trying to get us back into our center so that we're connected and we have a really strong foundation so that we can go into the world, and everything that's revealed when we do that is, really, I suppose, what can help us flourish in a true way. So the book, Silence Revolution, talks about that. It talks about, I suppose, my journey that I went on from the age of, I'm 49 now in March, and when I was 40, I kind of entered into this, I suppose, journey of self-discovery. And I found I had to uncover so much conditioning, so much so many layers and layers and layers, especially for women, to try and get down to the truth of who I was and what my purpose was here in the world and what I need to do and what we need to do as society, and to look at human design basically, and the on many layers, the emotional, the psychological, the spiritual levels of who we are and what how we're designed, and then when we understand how we're designed, how we can maximize that and how we can really become, step into our full potential. And it's amazing what I found along that journey, and it's amazing what gifts and talents have been revealed along that journey too. So the book is an invitation into us all kind of starting to look at that, to deconstruct ourselves so that we can find our purpose and then we can show up in the world in the way that we were designed to be. And this year, I think it's a really has an amazing feeling. It's a very different feeling to the last maybe 5 years, where I feel for myself personally, it's been a lot about discovery. This year, it's about really stepping into my own power and starting to teach. So, starting to teach women how to connect to their true selves, their true identity, so that they can unlock their gifts and talents and to come into the world in a fuller way. Because we really, really need that. And I think women have the ability to, when they become empowered in their truth, to really create a beautiful environment in the home that helps their children, also their husbands, their partners, to so that they can actually step into their true power too, so that we can really become, a richer society, because that's what we need. At this time, when things get difficult, it's a brilliant time for us to transform and to it's become our truer into our true potential. So for me, this year I'm focusing on that. I'm focused on women and focusing on, from maybe 40 upwards, where they're starting to look at, what, who am I beyond my roles? Who am I, and what is my purpose here in the earth at this time? What can I do? Because especially when we see so much, I suppose we're under a lot of pressure financially, with from all angles. And how can we respond, to this moment that we're living? And it's very positive, because on the journey that I've been on and the work that I've been doing with students in college as well, because I'm a design lecturer, and I've been working with students around talking about these things as well. And it's absolutely amazing what is revealed when you start on that journey. So I'm really, really excited about talking to you about this year, and to bringing you on a journey talking. I'm going to start talking about, what's true about reality, what's false, what are the truths, what are the falsehoods that we've been taught, or what we have taught has been false. Is that true? Starting to look at that. So I'm going to do little lives, shorter lives, talking about that, and asking you to start to question yourselves, to start to question, how we're showing up, and how free that we're actually, how free are we in our thought? How are we manipulated, and how are we falling into that manipulation around, especially I understand all that because I'm a branding expert, but what is it that we are buying into? What are we being manipulated into, and how can we be more conscious of our purchasing power? How can we be more conscious of how we show up? How can we be more conscious of who we are as a brand and ourselves, and how can we increase our value, and how can we really, when we increase our value as women, then the world definitely becomes a richer place, because I think there's been a devaluation of the feminine. So the feminine for me is life-giving. It's helps society flourish. And there's a kind of a skill and a training to that, and understanding of that. So that's what I'd like to talk about, like the flourishing by design, so flourishing consciously as a feminine leader, and how will that affect not just your own family, but your society, places that you work, and at large, and how we show up in the world and what we align ourselves to. So, what we need to do that, how we need to begin with that is to go silent and to really start to contemplate ourselves and to really get to know ourselves and to really to get to know, stop looking outside for answers and start looking inside for the answers. And I'd love to, because I've done 10 years of it at this stage now, I feel it's time for me to start talking about this and guiding women in a more intimate space, through the books and then through teachings. And I'm going to be starting in March. So that's where I am this year, and I'm really excited about it because actually there's a lot of people asking me about this. They're asking me, not just women, but actually men asking me about their masculinity and how does their masculinity fit in with femininity, and how can they show up in the way that the feminine wants them, and how can the masculine support the feminine, and how can the feminine support the masculine for us to kind of flourish as a society, so that our children, who we're trying to protect for the next generation, will have a framework that's going to work, for this new world that we're living in, because it's changing so rapidly. So it's a really interesting time, amazing time. It's like the redesign of the, you know, the the feminine and the masculine, I guess. But my focus is on the feminine, where we start to, how can we look into ourselves and start to really blossom from within. So I'd love to invite you on that journey with me this year. And I'll be posting more information about the book and the courses as I go along. But I'd love to be actually invite you into, I'm going to be doing some more storytelling around my own story and what I've discovered and what I have found out about myself in the last number of years has just been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. It really has. And I think it's kind of, I'm going to offer myself up as a case study so that maybe you can learn from my journey and invite you into the journey in yourself, because there's been a huge amount of hard work. There's been a huge amount of, I suppose, growth and healing required, and I feel hopefully that me sharing my story, my personal journey, will maybe try and make it a bit quicker for everybody else, the fast track path I have was one of my poems, and that maybe I'd love to accelerate the process of um, that blossoming for women, so that I suppose when one person has gone through something and discovered their own purpose and self-actualize themselves, then they can maybe help, other women do that, but in a quicker way, because they won't have to, maybe they can do it instead of it from experience, but from example as such, So yeah, so the book is going to be a little bit of a journey into self-discovery, and also courses alongside that as well. So I'd love you to, yeah, if there's any questions, post in the comments below this, but I'll be posting more little lives a couple of good times, maybe 2-3 times a week now, asking some questions and telling some stories and getting to, have a little think about what I have to, I'm asking you to contemplate, I guess, so really excited about this year. I have a really, really very active feeling, that I really feel this year is going to be a busy year. A lot of change, huge change, but positive change. And I wish you all the very, very best for 2023, because it's my first kind of proper broadcast, 2023. I'm going to be doing the interviews still with any launches that you're interested in coming on to launch any of your creative ideas. Get in touch with me. And yeah, I'll be in touch about launch dates for everything else that's coming up this year. But really want to wish you to say keep the heart as well, because it's although we're in a difficult time of adversity, we're actually in a massive time of change, which brings huge possibilities. So I guess it's a time that we can redesign, that we can, things are breaking down, that we can rebuild and we can start anew and start afresh and actually consciously design our lives from the inside out. So thank you for listening, and thank you for always watching and commenting and liking and sharing. I'm so blown away by everybody's beautiful comments and things that people have said to me outside of the lives, outside of comments on Facebook, on social media. But actually, when I meet people in person, you don't realize sometimes what you're saying, what you're doing is having a big effect on people's consciousness, which is what I'm trying to do, is kind of raise people's awareness, self-awareness, to raise people's consciousness. So I'll keep going, and thank you for all your input, and I'll talk to you again soon next week. Okay, bye. Have a lovely week. Take care. Bye.